So I wanted to talk a little bit about the help and social help and psychiatric help that's available here. And this is only a small example of what I know about. I have a friend who has been off sick for at least 6 months. I think it might even be longer. She works for an employer who, in the past, she's talked about being quite aggressive, not physically aggressive, but quite aggressive in his behaviour and manner. And she's quite sensitive, and I think that has impacted on her. And I was thinking about it this morning, about how different it is here in terms of the support she's getting, and that there isn't, even though she's been off for a long time, there isn't anybody leaning down her, breathing down her neck, or breathing down the neck of an occupational nurse, or breathing down the neck of her doctor to get her back into the workplace. And it's really, I can't think what the word is, but it's reassuring to know that she's being taken care of because she's unwell. She's describing this episode as burnout, and in English, burnout, and I have a little understanding of that myself because I had that when I was working a few months before we came here, and I'd had it years back when we were working in Kent. And I know how it feels, that it's not something that you can pinpoint or describe, but you're unable to function. Your brain won't work. You can't think things through. You can't. I wasn't able to drive. You are unable to multitask, unable to make decisions. I think one of the examples I had for me was when I go shopping, I scan the shelves. You're scanning the shelves to choose the product you want, maybe choosing out of a group of similar products. Well, when I'm unwell or have burnout, I can't do that. I can't scan. So my brain won't work. So that's what she's got. That's what she's struggling with. And she's having had a lot of therapy to look at what's going on for her, and there's quite a existential thing going on for her that goes way back to being an unwanted baby. So I was just thinking through, or looking at the list that she gave me when I expressed concern some weeks ago, because what has happened is, in the last month, I think it is, she should get from her employer 80% of her salary, and then that gets topped up by the social benefits. And her employer had failed to pay the 80%. And I think that's 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, which I found really concerning. And she said, it's okay, don't worry, there's stuff in place, that there's like an insurance-based or social insurance-based loan, so she can still access money. So she's not without 80% of her money, but her employer's not paid. And still, when I asked her yesterday, she hasn't been paid, which is disgusting. It's trying to starve her back to work, and that doesn't work here. I know that they're paying 80% of a salary for somebody that hasn't been at work for months, but that's not the point. You're meant to pay. That's the law. Fucking pay it. So she's got support in relation to that. She has a psychologist, a psychiatric nurse, and there's another psychiatric nurse, a social assistant social, and her doctor, which I think is it's a big, good, supportive group of people. I mean, they're not all there, on the doorstep every day. Maybe she accesses these people once or twice a week, but they're there and she's supported. And I think that's the big difference. I sort of imagine, she's been off for months now, and I sort of imagine she'd be on the streets now if she were in the UK. Because she would, I don't know, she's probably paying her rent somehow, but she wouldn't have been able to pay her rent. She would have probably been evicted, although evictions take a while to get going. But she'd be living hand to mouth. And what I like about France is, because of their socialistic thing, my brain's not working today, she's supported. And she's not on the streets, she's not begging, she's not having to go to a food bank. All of that stuff is really important. And people complain about, oh, you pay high taxes in France or whatever, but that's what they're for, to support your fellow human beings, amongst other things. That's why the environment that we live in is well cared for. That's why the hedges are cut. That's why the ditches are cut. Why the ditches are cleared out. Why the roundabouts look nice. Why your surroundings are taken care of. Why your roads get mended relatively quickly. They break a lot of the roads. We were travelling down. I might even have been on a road trip filming it, travelling down to the Hope Shop the other day, and the road, the one of the roads nearest to us that we were on, I said to Mark, this used to be really nice, but what happens is there's so many trees that the roots just come through and lift the tarmac. So yeah, that's what the Cotistations are for, and I think that's really important, that people feel supported and are not feeling driven to get back to work when they're not well enough. And I can remember back just before, a few months before we left for here, that I was working, that I was off with burnout. Brain just wouldn't work. It's stress related, and it was very stressful, my job. I was managing a psychiatric nursing home, so it was stressful. But I didn't recognise how stressful it was. That's the thing. I sort of wasn't completely aware of how stressed I was. Anyway, I was off sick for a few weeks and I got a letter from my boss, which was not a good thing to receive when you're not well, to give you a hard time about coming back to work. It really was not a good letter to receive. And I did challenge him when I went back, but he stood by his letter. But it really isn't helpful when you're sick to be harangued about coming back to work. But yeah, so I remember it well. Well, I remember it well now because I'm thinking about my friend. Hello. Noticed we went down and we did Mr. Cockrell again last night, and his leg is more inflamed looking. I oiled it again, and we will keep an eye on it, but may take him to the vets because it felt hot and looked inflamed. He's got a little bit of a hard lump behind that foot, and there's something that chickens get, and I think it's called bumblefoot. I haven't remembered, it's such a long time ago that it was something that was in my head. I think it's called bumblefoot, and it's where they jump down from a height and they end up inflaming underneath their foot. But he's not roosting, he doesn't roost at height, so I don't think it can be that. So I'm going to have a think about that and think what else that can be. It might not even be that. It might just be part of it might be a bit swollen because it's inflamed, because it's red and whatever. But we oiled it again. There's a hole in the corner where they are laying their eggs. I said to Mark, oh, they've come forward with their eggs. They moved their egg laying place. And I realised that in the corner there was a hole and it was about that big. And I said to Mark, that looks a bit big for mice. So we put the trail camera in last night, and I think we've got. It's difficult because the film is small. I could put the SD card into. I might do that later into my Mac to have a look. I think it's rats, and I think there's at least 3 or 4. So we're going to have to think about how we address that. That is the problem. Stuff can dig in from underneath. It's a big. You've seen it. Some of you. The chicken coop is like a big garage. But the floor is a dirt floor, so stuff can dig in. But I'm going to talk to. I mean, he isn't here at the moment. He's still in bed, so I shall talk to him about that and what we do about that. I have got the benign positional vertigo. There's another V, and I can't remember what it's BBBV or whatever it is, back again today, which is it's quite weird because it's the same day I had it last week. And I had a bit of a struggle in art again yesterday. And it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I'm not sure. Was the struggle for me in art because of this coming on, or had the struggle in art caused this to come on? I don't know. I tried the epaulet maneuver when I went to bed last night and didn't do very well and hurt my neck. It hurts because you have to have your neck tipped back, and it just hurt my neck, and I ended up not feeling great. And so sort of when I was up in the night for the loo, I was staggering a bit. So I've taken seasickness tablets because I just thought I'm not going to spend the day feeling delicate. I've got stuff to do. So I've taken seasickness tablets so that I can get on and enjoy my day. And I've looked up to see if I can get an ORL appointment, which is an ENT appointment. But one of the practitioners, see, I'm dizzy if I close my eyes. One of the practitioners doesn't have any availability until next February, and the others are all September. So I'm going to have to suck it up. I'm going to have to I'll do the epaulet maneuver again before bed tonight. And because I've got the seasickness tablets, it might help me feel okay whilst I do it, rather than I try not to hurt my neck. But I'm just going to have to do that because I certainly won't be able to get an appointment before we go away to the UK. I'm pissed off about that. But Tom P. can't do anything about it. So I'm going to have my second cup of coffee. It's 10 o'clock. I have to be careful how I turn. It's 10 o'clock. I'm roasting the lamb today. I'm not going to do it as a cooking. I'm roasting lamb. If I feel better over the weekend, I will film the Lancashire hot pot. Lancashire hot pot's really easy to make. So if you really do want to see how to make it, you can look it up on YouTube. Just in case I don't do it. I might not if I'm not well enough. But I'm going to be well enough to roast the lamb today because roasting is easy. So I'm going to do that. What am I going to do? Roast potatoes, and I bought 2 green cabbage. I love cabbage at the moment. So I'm going to do cabbage, roast potatoes. I've got frozen carrots because I forgot to put carrots in my order. What else have I got? A bit of broccoli that I cooked last night, and that'll do. So that's what we'll have. Roast lamb, mint sauce. I've got a bit of mint in there that I can make into mint sauce. The sort of mint that we grow outside isn't the right sort of mint for mint sauce, but I think I've got enough mint there to chop up to make mint sauce. And yeah, okay. Have a nice day, and see you when I'm back.